Hello. Let's see.
If
Clean.
we're live, then they can hear us, right?
Totally hear us. So we shouldn't say anything bad about them.
Nothing. Yes. Well, Gail, it's nice to see you
It's nice to hear
and hear
you. Oh
you.
my
Nice to hear
gosh.
you. So, people, this is exactly an example of life as an entrepreneur that you can plan everything out. You can go 104 hours straight and then right in the last hour not be able to get on your own interview. Right, Gail?
Yeah. Yeah. It was totally exciting. Which they
Yes,
did. Tiffany was amazing and Colin did a great job. So thank you,
absolutely. Really
Colin,
excited.
for stepping in and
Yes.
saving me.
So wonderful. I don't know why I'm doing all this with this pillow. Yes, so crazy. Oh, can't take it. All right.
This is a
So,
really important substance right here.
yes, sorry guys. All right. So, anyway, this is the last bit, and Colin's going to be coming on in a half an hour as we do the full segment. But we thought we may as well take the chance to jump on. We didn't want to leave you high and dry half an hour before, in case you were watching Tiffany and thinking, great, what? This is the end? This is it? I now have time. It's Friday. I was working the whole time. Now I'm sad. I'm missing the entrepreneur hotline. Well, you got another hour, and then you're going to have the chance to also get access to the curated version of this. So sign up at theentrepreneurhotline.com and we will let you know when it's all available. Hi, Taryn
Hi.
Levy. Hi.
That was such a fun interview this morning.
She's awesome.
She's
Boom, shakalaka.
amazing. I loved it. I was listening to it when I was getting the kids ready, and my youngest was like, "Oh my gosh, who is that?" And
Yeah.
I told her who it was, and she's like, "That's so cool." So my kids, it's been fun. So the kids have been like, "Mom, is your international thing done yet?" Because that's how I've explained it. I'm trying to explain to them why I'm like,
South
there's all these,
Africa.
yeah, like there's all these out.
Denmark.
It's crazy town. I'm like, wait, what time zone am I in? What's happening in my life? So that's
Right. Like I said,
oh
what time zone is Waldo in? Not
yeah.
where is Waldo? What time zone? When do we have to schedule Waldo?
Oh man, that's been really neat. Though the kids have enjoyed overhearing the interviews and all that. So
Yeah. No, I enjoy going in and looking at the transcription or working on the transcriptions
yeah.
and reviewing some of the tape. Obviously not fully because I don't have 105 hours to listen to 105 hours.
No? Are you sure?
So it's been a ride. To be honest with you, it feels like when I went through all of the information, it feels like we have been through a lot, and yet it feels like it feels like Monday at
I know. I'm like, oh wait, we're done.
3.
I just figured out what I was doing.
Yeah,
Like I just
I
figured
was
it
just
out.
getting warmed up. You know what? Actually, let's not finish. Let's go for the next weekend. Finish
No.
the weekend. We'll get to 168. No,
No. I love you, but no.
it's all good. No, I'm super excited. Actually, I don't know if you caught last night when
Mhm.
I did the interviews. It was a focus on Denmark. Not because it was a focus on Denmark, but oddly, this is not how it was planned originally, but we had some pockets of really interesting serendipity. So when Colin did the interview with Dr. Chris and with John, they were both from the southern part of the United States, basically a state over from each other, which is strange, right? And because they have nothing to do with each other. But then here we had Brian and Rasmus all in Denmark and me. And the funny thing of Brian and I being across from each other, looking like we were in two different places.
That was
And that
amazing.
was interesting, but also a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And the tricky things that come out of it is, the feedback and things like that you have to pay attention to when you're in the same room trying to do interviews
Right.
and muting your computer and then going into the next interview and not realizing that. So when you're flipping, when you're following a schedule and then you make a hiccup in the schedule, or following a system, you need to be pretty careful about going back to resetting the things so that they don't get, yeah, bejeweled. That's my word, bejeweled. Just so I think it was funny. The point wasn't that. The point was that I did the first shiki, the
You did the
wrapping with the cloth.
okay. Yes.
Yes. So, are you the one who put the laughy face?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
No.
The big happy, the big broad smile face. So, Gail, you're doing some writing and your face is down.
I know. I wanted to message StreamYard and let them know that I identified what my problem was
Yes.
and
Tell them you'll get back to them in an hour. This is the
yeah.
last hour. You need to be present, my friend. You
I
need to be
follow.
present.
Huzzah.
This is you.
That's me all day long.
It's like the emoji that I made. It's the word that I used that the person is crazed and at the computer.
Oh, that's how I'm feeling right now. I spent the last hour freaking out. So here we are.
Yes, exactly. And it's crazy. But putting the like in terms of reflections, I don't want to go too much into the forum aspect,
Yeah.
without Colin, but just, what are your thoughts about it?
Uh, um,
The week.
the week.
And you have open, carte blanche to
Carte
reflect
blanche.
any way you want. Yeah.
Um,
However you want to reflect on it.
I
From a,
Monday and Tuesday were a little rough. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried. I got to the end of Tuesday and I was like, I'm not sure I can do this for another 3 days. Like, I just don't know. But it was just one of those things of like, I couldn't possibly anticipate what I would need to do in order for all the pieces to work. And then it took me just probably about 36 hours to figure out, okay, this is how I need to do this. This is when I need to start this so that I, can
to get in a
actually
rhythm. Get a
yeah, to
rhythm.
get the things done, actually sleep, still take care of humans and but it's like it's definitely it feels like a really nice feather in my cap.
Yeah,
Not going to lie,
absolutely.
cuz it's like what I feel like we've done. And it's definitely a we thing, but having co-hosted, co-produced, spoken at, and hosted speakers at an international virtual summit for a
Yes.
week from
Yes.
my house.
Yeah. There you go.
And everyone still got to have dinner. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
woo.
Ooh, fancy
So
super mom.
I know it's well, yeah, it sort of felt like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I think
so I
that
don't know.
this is to say, if you're listening, it's yeah, we're taking credit where credit's due. We are a bit badass to have done this, but it's really it isn't about it wasn't to prove that we could do it. It was because we wanted to do it and because we thought it was important to do it. And it was also fun to do because we love entrepreneurship. So to love and be dedicated to it, and some of the things that actually, has recurred has been this, mindset, this
Yeah,
collaboration, this, this the soft skills, if you will,
right.
of entrepreneurship. And that was part of the main vision for doing it. That there's a lot of people who are peddling, I'm sorry if I said that in a negative way. There are a lot of people who are see, offering opportunities for entrepreneur to learn about practical things such as, or there are accounting agencies who are saying, oh, come, we have a free course for you during
Right.
Global Entrepreneurship Week. Learn how to manage your books. And there's a lot of starting your business, and here are the practicalities of how
Right.
you do that. But there has been less of a discussion, and even there have been whispers, right? There are whispers. There's a big amount of whispers across the world, across social media, across the internet. You can see, I'm seeing people talking about the mindset. I'm seeing people talking about, oh, it's very difficult, talking about the failures, talking about all these things. And that's the whispers have been going around. And we, you know, put it on loudspeaker. We put it on visibility.
Yeah.
So that people can hear that many people from different parts of the world are having the same conversation, or even if it's not their main conversation, it's a part of it. Almost, I would say almost no one. I can't even think of anyone who did not mention some element of the soft skill of how important, what a key piece that was.
Right.
So, so I
Yeah.
think that that's a good feeling to do it. It's good to have been able to go through it, because it is a testimony to a few people, like and most people would have said no, would have pulled the plug, right? No,
Yeah,
not gonna.
I'm a little stubborn.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, I've been like I've been daydreaming it, like, because I was trying to remember when you asked me about this, and I feel like you asked me, it was months and months and months ago, ages ago, and I, no joke,
Theoretically,
theor-
I meant,
theoretically, it
right?
was like,
Yeah,
hey, are you okay if I share with the, like, in the beginning? Are you okay if I share
oh,
this?
yeah. I don't know what you're
So,
gonna share.
well, just that, no,
Go
nothing
ahead.
bad. Just that,
Yeah, it's
like,
okay. It's all good.
and when you were starting to daydream about it, you were like, hey, I'm thinking about doing, this thing. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know who's going to come hang out, but how do you feel about that? And I was like, you might not know this, but I think I said yes. I mean, obviously, duh. Wherever you go, I'm going. But I also blocked it off on my calendar 7 months ago. I was like, okay, all
It
right, I'm
wasn't
not.
that long ago, was it?
It
That
was.
I said it?
It's been a while. From the time you asked me, yeah, it's been a long time, because I was like, I put it on my calendar, and I told my husband, I was like, I'm like, this is what I'm doing this week. We're not going anywhere. We're not traveling. I'm not doing anything extra.
Oh,
We're like blocking it off.
oh, that's so wonderful.
So
Yes, I knew that I brought it. I couldn't remember when, because it's something that's been in the undercurrent of my life the whole time anyway. I
yeah,
mean, pretty much since 5 years ago when I wanted to do it. And then 4 years ago when we actually did the big blab, and it
right,
was a different nature of the same beat, a different
right,
side of the same beast, basically.
yeah,
And how it developed over the years. And then it started to be an issue with, but will we find the platform?
right,
And that has been, that actually is a really good example for those of you who are out there. Sometimes the vision, sometimes you won't have the vehicle for the vision that you want. Like,
yeah,
that's not, it's, sometimes the vehicle is there and that gives you the idea for the vision. Blab came along and I said, oh, I can do this thing.
yeah,
All the pieces are there. I can do this thing.
yeah,
And after Blab went down, then I didn't have the vehicle.
right,
So I had to figure out what I was going to do on the, instead. What could I use, and how would I go about it? And then I was, in the time also, and who would I want to have to be a part of it? And,
right,
and what kind of content should be delivered and all that stuff. So, you're brainstorming, and also you have life. You're doing other
yes.
things. There are books to be written, and, life to be lived, and
I
all
had
the,
we had I had Girl Scouts last night, so I'm like frantically getting everything done so that I can make it to my Girl Scout meeting, and and then work with 20 young women ages 6 to, I think we had up to 14 last night.
nice.
So, that we're talking about art and STEM, and, things that they're observing and stuff that they're, I just love that being an entrepreneur. And you were talking about, I don't remember when you said it, but you said it, that that it's a lifestyle. Like, it's not that I'm working 24/7, but I am 24/7 living a life that allows me to use my brain the way that it was intended, in my opinion. And then not only that, but also provide space and make space for my kids and the other people that I interact with to say, hey, you have this incredible heart and this incredible brain that you were, that got created in you. And what are you doing with it? If you want to do something else, come hang out. Like, if you want to do something with it, like, let's talk, let's do it. And I feel like um I think that's the incredible part about the internet and these platforms and just how it it I think Blab, and I know we keep talking about Blab, but I think it provided a space where a bunch of people had the same thing inside them, that they knew they had this thing they wanted to share. And like, because not that every cool thing I've done has been with someone who I met on Blab, but many of the cool things I have been able to do, I did because I was able to connect with people who had that same thing in them. And if those connections hadn't been made, I don't know what life would look like right now, but it certainly wouldn't be this.
Right.
So I think that's, I think those things are pretty amazing. So if you're out there and you're creating something that you're not sure if it's going to work, but you're like that fear part, go back and binge watch all the content. Because if the people who had created Blab decided in their basement that they weren't going to do it because it wasn't going to work, my whole life would be different. So, the world needs your thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we've said that like a whole bunch of things,
it is, but sometimes for the cheap seats, for those out in the back, you really got to hear it sometimes, many times.
Yeah.
And you alluded to this earlier, or earlier being sometime this week, and one of the 104 hours.
Yeah.
That this two people can stand. You and I can say the same thing, and somebody's not going to hear what I say because they just can't, and they're going to hear what you say because they can, and vice versa. And that's the piece that most people don't get. They think they're competing against each other, and really they are really only competing against everything in there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Ooh. Wise one am I.
There's something else that popped into my head, and I think it popped out again, which is sad. It was a good thing. Oh, hold on. It's almost there. Oh, this is going to be an awkward moment on the live stream, on the replay. Had to do with legacy, and you were talking. Ooh, I remember what it was. Was that fun to watch my brain not work and then work? So you were talking about like not having the vehicle for the vision. So the vision I had for legacy, for the legacy recorder, when you and I first sat down and did that crazy thing on the big Blab, I think I realized like 6 months or 12 months in that I knew that the things I wanted to deliver, it didn't exist yet. The vehicles I needed in order to deliver the thing. So I in the way my brain works, picked the pieces I knew I could use to create the solution. And so I had things built that would deliver like journal prompts weekly automatically that would then create a PDF that you could then download. And that was before you had Storybook and a whole bunch of other things that I now see. And those platforms came out in the last 2 years, long after I had decided that, until the vehicle came out, it just was cost prohibitive to on a consumer standpoint.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the return wasn't there for the consumer.
And
time. I had no problem doing it. So it was for me, it was very funny to have conversations with people. And if you're one of these people, I love you. Thank you for the suggestion. But they would say, oh, you should do this or you should do this. And I'm like, yep, here's the page for that. Here's the pay button. Feel free to go do it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to I've already built it. Go do it. I figured out that it isn't the right fit. It's not the right fit for the market. And what I think has been really cool is watching people that I do not feel are competitors, by the way, create these vehicles for storytelling that weren't there 2 years ago, that now make it possible to create gorgeous, gorgeous books that I could not possibly have done on my own. And they've been able to create, it's just incredible. So I love being able to say, hey, here's, this is what you want to do. Here's the vehicle. Go do it over there, because these people, they are killing it. They are doing an incredible job over here. And I don't need to create that thing. I love when a platform comes out and I'm like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to build it.
Yeah, and it doesn't delay. I mean, that's the thing. If you think about it, when I started my book, the Entrepreneurial Profiles book, that was actually it's pushing 11 years now, right?
Yeah.
It really is. And there are a lot of people who don't get why did that not come out? Why not?
Right.
And that's a whole different 105-hour explanation
Uh-huh.
there. But now seriously, the if one thinks in terms of what people don't realize the back end of that,
Yeah.
I was getting basically degrees in everything that I needed to get because it was so early. So I needed to understand desktop publishing.
Right.
There was no just throw up your, just download your, just talking to the
Yeah.
at this point we didn't have the technology with the phone. There was no, even if you had written it, how you put it up, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was listening to podcast. No, I mean, podcast existed actually, but
Mhm.
people didn't embrace them like they do now. So there was that. I was listening to webinars and teleseminars, and I was investing money in how to learn how to be a better writer, even
Right.
though I mean, I'm educated. My undergraduate degree is theater and English, but I needed to know how to write in another way, like how
Right.
do you write like this for this,
It's
and
different.
how do
Yeah.
you format, and how do you, like the book, so the publishing, how do you do that
Right.
in this modern age? And how, and what's the lag time, and who do you partner with, and how do you market, and all these things. So I was trying to get a marketing degree, trying to get a publishing degree,
Right.
trying to hone in on my writing. And because I'm Lori Crazy Pants, my book also was not a book
Right.
originally. And what one can see, at the time I was doing the interviews with actually broadcast quality. I had a video machine that was like,
Yeah.
and then, oh no, it was this. And it was doing, but I got state of the art. And because I had invested, and this is also something about technology, spend as much money, maybe a little bit more, but just a little bit more so you invest in the best technology, because the technology moves so fast. If you try to save money and
Yeah.
buy lesser technology, you will be sad. It will, because it will be redundant so quickly, the half-life. Oh, you
Right.
bought it? Oh, you have the 5 minute ago model? That's so sad, right? But if you buy the good technology, it can help you last longer. But even me buying that technology, I took the videos. I was going around, and I had the smart. I used to disc jockey, so I used to work with DatBot. I've worked with every kind of audio to do clipping.
Yeah.
But the interviews that I was doing, right? I mean, they're on things that I can't even access anymore. Like, not all of them. I mean, I downloaded and did different things, but this is just a sign of like crazy.
Yeah.
And reason, like, it's not to give you an excuse, it's to give you a context, and it's also to give you to not warn you, but to actually less warn you and more kick you in the butt and say, really, it's easy enough. It's like modern food. You can
Yep.
go to the grocery store, even though I'm a big proponent of, shopping, farmers markets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can go to the farm. You don't have to do all the work yourself. You can actually go and get food conveniently. And this is what entrepreneurship is in the 21st century. You want to write? Then write. You want to write and be a published author? Then you know what you do? You decide that that's what you want to do, and then you put in the time and the effort as at the level
Right.
with the belief. And I think that that's part of it, that if you don't have the conviction, it's easy to, yeah, actually John said it. It when right, when it's doing the hard things when easy is available,
Mhm.
right? Because sometimes,
Oh,
because everybody will do the hard things when that's the only choice.
yes.
Actually, Colin and I spoke about I had this, what if there was an accident, like suddenly things become very clear when things get real, get
Right.
serious and hard. Nobody's interested if somebody's sick in your family, or if you're sick, like, we don't have to be that tragic.
No.
Okay, you're down with the flu, you're real sick,
Yeah.
right? suddenly it doesn't matter about all those meetings that you said you couldn't make. Like you
Right.
can't go. Because
Right.
even if you're not even that sick, if you're contagious,
Yes.
you're just not allowed. You're not invited,
Yes.
right? And so if you're not invited any longer, now suddenly you got some free time, right?
You
You
know, what I was sorry, I just had something pop into my head. And did you have first question? Did you have a slideshow you wanted to show in this time period or no?
I was going to show it when Colin was here, but I
Okay,
can
cool. No, no,
actually,
no, no, no. We can wait.
yeah,
We only have
mhm,
5 more minutes until that
yeah.
happens. So, um, but so the thing I was going to giggle about is that when you are sick as an entrepreneur, um, if you haven't built your systems, guess what's not happening for you? Work, billable hours, whatever. And then the other thing is what I do love about it is that even if I'm slightly contagious, I can be on a Zoom call with someone and still do some meetings, which
Just hit the mute button.
just hit the mute button, like
Oh
whatever,
my
no
gosh,
big deal.
looks like you're coughing up a lung there, there, Gail. It
Anyways, I
is.
thought that was funny.
It really is a good thing, though. That like,
Well, I feel like it's probably good and bad. Like I feel like there's probably there's one camp that's probably like, it would really be really cool if like I could actually like take a sick day. Like I don't
yeah.
there's no sick days. Like
Well, actually, this is less now, not so bad, but at the time, not so funny. Well, actually, I don't think it's funny at all, probably. But when I got really sick. I don't know if you remember. I think we did talk about this, but I got
Mhm.
really sick from I got really sick from entrepreneurship.
It's contagious.
Yes, it is contagious. But I got really sick and I went to the doctor, and I live here in Denmark, and it's a social welfare system, and which means they allot for when employees get sick and they can help you. And it depends on, what your back end is. I wasn't a part of a union that would cover me when I got sick like that.
Okay.
Like not, the entrepreneur unions have also evolved over time. In the beginning, like when I started my business, it was not really a
Right.
thing that
Right.
they, took care of you like that. So anyway, I went to the doctor, and she, several times, because I was real sick, and she was saying, wow, you know what, you should be on leave, you should be on sick leave for like a half a year. uh but since you're an entrepreneur, there's not really a lot to do. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing to do. And that's why I said, like, I'm here, and I joke about like, oh yeah, so then I just like worked through it.
Right.
You just make it through, you work.
Yeah.
And that's the fine line of the journey, because when are you taking unnecessary like everything
Yeah.
is all fine and dandy until someone loses an eye.
Yes.
Is You're a mother. Have you ever said that?
Yes.
Everything's fine. It's all, yeah, you guys are throwing those things around. It's all fine and dandy till somebody loses an eye. Like good
And
fun.
then my follow-up is, and going to the hospital is not in the budget this month. So
Yeah,
keep it together, people.
that's right. Watch yourselves. And that's, these are the realities that
Yeah.
you move along, you do what you need to do, but entrepreneurs need to be thinking from an insurance standpoint. And
Hmm.
that insurance, like you said, if you listen to the people that not like you said, systems, right?
Yes.
And if you listen to many, especially the people you brought in about systems, who were, especially in the earlier part of the week, that can save your butt. It,
Yep.
it can make your life easier. I mean, that's the whole thing. It can make your life much easier. It makes you more efficient in your business. You're probably going to make more money in your business. But the other side of it is it can save your business. It can save your life,
Yeah.
right? And I say that more from observation than actual practice. I have my moments. Sometimes I'm actually really like, I figure out some systems and I get it to work, and
Yeah.
there are periods of time where it's like all chaos, and it's like, what am I doing and why? And then, so this has been, if nothing else, my lifeline, maybe, to say, hey, I have some aspirations for, it doesn't matter where I am right now. It's the aspirations of where I want to be, right?
Right.
We spoke about that before.
Yeah.
We're building the business not for the one we have,
Right. For
right?
what we're going to have. Yeah.
Yeah. And that means you also have to have the capacity to imagine a bigger business. I'm looking at 1730 and I'm
Yeah.
feeling like we have a place to be.
We do have a place to be. So, we thank you so much for watching this. If you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you. We're gonna head over and do our closeout with the fabulous Colin, and we'll see you in a few moments.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.